Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Chris, long time no see. So now I am in Maryland. Made my way down from Boston via Amtrak to Maryland. Passed through, I think, 7 different states. Pretty interesting. Got to see a lot of the highlights of different places: New York City, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Philadelphia. Again, I'm not naming the states, just different random places. But a pretty interesting journey. It is hot here on the East Coast. It's not like temperature hot, just the humidity is killer. And being from California, it's been a while since I've experienced the humidity. In Boston, it was hot and humid. Maryland, so far, it's very humid, but not temperature-wise as hot. But it's been a pretty fun trip. Pretty fun to visit the East Coast. Again, as someone who loves history, it's cool to see so much that's just in plain sight on the East Coast. And as far as like stacking goes, it's very interesting because you get to kind of see a little bit of a different culture as you make your way through the different places. I mean, they might be right next door, but very different cultures in those different places. So it makes it interesting. Like I said, like part of stacking is not just obviously the metal. Price wise, we always like to get the lowest price that we can for the metals. But if you ever get into like either the numismatics or things like that, like just knowing like the history of the different places and what was going on at the different times is pretty interesting. When I was on the train, I got to actually watch a lot of videos, as there's not much else to do on the train. I did like looking at the scenery. Pretty cool. I think it was in Rhode Island, maybe, or Connecticut, that I passed by the General Dynamics plant right there by the water. It's like off the river, but it was pretty cool because they had a nuclear submarine being built just out there it was on the jetty, that they make, I guess, when I don't know if they build it outside. I'm assuming that they build it inside, and as it gets closer, it kind of goes out towards the water so they can launch it. But it was actually really cool because you got a really good view of that, which is pretty interesting. But one of the videos that I got to watch was T the Silver Stacker's video on the Olympic coin. And so if you watched my video on the Mexican Olympic coin, because the Olympics are going on, not only is the coin itself a pretty nice coin, and the price is right. I think it's 0.7 ounces of silver. But it's a pretty cool coin, and like I said, when you actually take a good look at it, it's got the ribbed edging on there. It's got like the lettering on the side of the coin, and pretty interesting coin. But T was talking about on his video, he was actually talking about why he wouldn't buy that coin. And it was actually really interesting, something that I didn't know, which was in the lead up to the 68 Olympics, he said that there was basically like a political unrest in Mexico City. And what ended up happening was because the Olympics were coming up and Mexico didn't want to have a bad look from that kind of thing, they basically put down the protests with violence, from the military. And so a lot of people died, and then basically the government worked really hard to cover it up, which I had never heard any of that stuff. And I'm Hispanic, so not that I necessarily keep up too much on what's going on in Mexico, but interesting. And like I said, like to me, it was actually pretty interesting. My take on it was that, hey, a little bit different from T, and I definitely understand where T is coming from because those kind of things you don't want to remember. And if you look at the coin as like a celebration of like just the Olympics, I can definitely see where T is coming from. But what I took from it was that actually, it's a reminder that something that's so in your face, like the Olympics, there could be so many other things going on below the surface that, the general public's not going to know about. So very interesting take on that. And it was a really good video. So if you get a chance, go check out T the Silver Stacker's video on that Olympic coin. I was watching a few videos also on mortgages. Again, so like I know a lot of people aren't in that situation as far as like mortgage forbearance or things like that. But the main thing that I want to get out on that is that, there are a lot of opportunities out there. Your lender is not going to be the go-to for answers on that kind of stuff. The reason is because they have no reason to. If you have your loan with them, they have you captive. So they're not going to give you the answers that you want to hear. You would think, if you're a good customer and we hear it all the time. I've been a customer here for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, whatever the case is. The bank doesn't care. The banks do not care. And the people who work there, they don't own the bank. So, you can't expect them to do anything outside of the organization's rules. There are a lot of great people in financial services, which is awesome. But at the end of the day, it's a business. So if you had something that's paying, an asset that's paying you 7%, and the customer is asking you to bring it down to 3%, well, where's my vested interest in that? Is it just because you think that you've been a customer here and, we should reward you for that? I'd like to think it worked that way. Maybe at one time in the banking industry back in the day it did, but now it's just big corporations that have nothing but their profits in mind. And so because of that, it's tough. It's tough for a lot of people. But what I wanted to keep emphasizing is that if you're in those situations, it doesn't even matter if it's not a mortgage, it could be anything. Go out there and contact the other financial institutions to see if they can help you. Because for example, like I said, if you're in forbearance and you're coming out of it, once you're out of that forbearance term, they can go ahead and refinance your loan at a different organization. Basically, as if you're just a normal customer. You have to come out of the forbearance. But like I said, once you get out of forbearance, if you're trying to talk to your lender and see what they'll do for you, they're not going to offer you much. And if they do, it's going to be something advantageous to them in some way or another. So because of that, like I said, just see what's out there. Don't feel trapped. I feel like, there are so many people that they get kind of trapped in the corner where they feel like the world's coming down on them. Look, all of these things, I deal with these kind of things all the time, as far as helping other people. And the main key is knock them out one at a time. Knock them out one at a time. The more traction you get dealing with these things, solving one, then solving another, doing those kind of things, it's only to your benefit. And you'll see over time that, it's just not as bad as you make it. But like I said, in Boston, I did try to go to a coin shop, but it wasn't, it was more of a hobby shop. So I didn't really find much in there that I wanted. And there was one guy there who was kind of the know-it-all guy. So I was I'm not getting a good vibe here. So wasn't able to make any purchases over there. Here in Maryland, I am in kind of the backwoods of Maryland. Not near the city, not near Baltimore area or near Bethesda or anything like that. Although those areas aren't too far. The only thing is that from here, there's no public transit to get down there. I mean, I'm sure you could, but it's kind of a laborious process. So I think the next couple of days, I'm probably going to be spending a lot of time out here in nature. Very nice. Like I said, I wish it wasn't so humid, but my understanding is that it's going to storm out here. And, again, I do feel that in a lot of ways I'm spoiled being in California. But I do want people to understand that, even if you're from California, people think that Californians have a snooty attitude. And, there are some people like that, and I'm sure there are people like that anywhere. But for myself, I can say, luckily I was very fortunate. My parents loved to travel when I was young. So I got to visit, a lot of different places. But I always appreciate going other places, especially here in America, because I think, if you do spend time in different places, it really helps you appreciate where, our fellow Americans are coming from as far as their situations and, their viewpoints and things like that. And if you stay in your own area, you're only in that, I can't think of the word right now, but basically you're going to find people with the same opinion as you, and it just becomes very limiting in your perspectives. So being able to get out in different areas and experience, what other people value is really important. But hopefully I have some silver to show you or some gold in the near future. I did see prices are coming way down, so that's very much appreciated. I definitely think I'll be making some purchases online rather shortly. Maybe not the Eagles. I'm not a big fan yet. But some of the other coins that I saw coming out from the Royal Canadian Mint in different places look pretty interesting. But that's it for right now, and I will see you guys later. Take care.